Right. Hmm. 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 Right. Hmm. Right. Um, just to be able to hear these experiences, it's bringing quite a bit of unsettling feeling, like to be called a terrorist. Like that's pretty unnerving. Now, that for sure has left some effect on your and your brother's mental health. Can you shed a little bit light on what that effect was? How did those experiences affect you and your brother? Hmm. Right. Hmm. Hmm. Right. 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 Hmm. 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 Right. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that safe environment at home essentially also brought in some sense of security when the outside world was that difficult to deal with, or when at such a young age you had such a difficult experience? How did the environment at home help you get better or heal, or maybe learn how to navigate these situations? Hmm. 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 Right. Hmm. 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 Right. Hmm. 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 Right. 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 It's such a wonderful thing that you've had your mom as such a beautiful model to kind of look up to, right? To know what it feels like, or to know what it is to stand up for someone, to have someone's back. And you mentioned you were what, 9 years old when this happened, and your brother was about the same age when he possibly told you. Tell me how, in listening to your brother's experience, that acknowledgement, because I think at one point you mentioned that when he said these things to you, there was a recognition of, oh, this has happened to me as well. Tell me how that dynamic sort of shifted it inside for you to stand up for him and protect him then, just as your mom protected you. Hmm. 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 Right. Hmm. 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 Right. 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 Correct. Hmm. 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 Right. 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 Just one, I think something quick. Have you muted yourself on Zoom as well? If you could just unmute yourself on Zoom but lower your device volume, then there would be no echo, but people would be able to hear you on
I
live.
have, yeah, it's good.
All right. Okay. Because I think I was just opening and I saw it being muted, and I don't know when that may have happened. All right. Yeah. So, like you said, for you to be able to extend the help to your own brother empowered you to essentially heal or kind of navigate even that very difficult experience, navigate that very difficult emotions that may you know that may have brought up for you. Now, I'm curious to also know at such a young age, right? Like you were 9 when this happened to you. You said it was a girl of the same age, and 9 is a very young age to know what discrimination is. Can you, in your experience or in your perception, where do you think that comes from? What's the prevalence of this discrimination? You know, where does it stem from?
Ma'am, I think according to me, the very first aspect of this could be the inability to recognize. We
Hmm.
are very proud that we spread awareness, but what about
Hmm.
actually accepting and recognizing that yes, this thing still exists? So
Hmm.
that that factor of saying that yeah, this happens is
Hmm.
very difficult in itself. So
Hmm.
not being able to recognize is something that could
Hmm.
be there. And yes, there is
Right.
discrimination because we come from
Hmm.
a very diverse culture,
Hmm.
which is a reason why discrimination happened. But you need to recognize before you
Hmm.
actually spread awareness, which is very minimal
Right.
in people.
Right.
Another thing that I would like to mention is,
Hmm.
there are a lot of environmental factors that come into picture.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
was bullied on communal basis when I was 9 years old. How did a
Hmm.
nine-year-old child know about this?
Right.
It's because,
Right.
uh, maybe the family talks about it in such a way. I've
Hmm.
This was not a direct comment, but there was the same girl, after a
Hmm.
few years, was
Hmm.
ridiculing my community and my religion
Hmm.
right in front of me. It was not directed to me. It was, I don't know, but I heard it and it was sad. Uh,
Right.
there was no change, in short.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
the media and the family, they need
Hmm.
to be, they are not mindful about these things.
Correct. 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 Correct.
So that
Right.
could
Because
be a few reasons, yeah.
right. Because you're right. Like as a 9-year-old, you're too young to even know what discrimination is or to understand the concept. But like you mentioned that you modeled your mother's behaviors of standing up for you, so they may have in some way shape or form seen that it's okay to do this, whereas it's not, right? So like you said, the awareness that such behavior is not okay, this is not humor, or this is not fun to bully someone by their religious background. Right. And because you talk of it being at a more institutional level, and you were in school back then, can you tell us a little bit more now that we're also in an educational institute, right? Like it's a higher education institute, but it's still the same school environment or college environment. What can we do here at SCEW or SIU to intervene or to have structures or systems in place where if we identify that something like that is happening, increase awareness, increase psychoeducation, kind of tell people or educate them that certain behaviors are okay and certain behaviors aren't okay.
Ma'am, I would really like to talk about this wonderful program that
Hmm.
was developed by a Chinese psychologist, and it has been
Hmm.
showcased even in a docu-film.
Hmm.
It was basically a program that focused on addressing this very
Hmm.
concept of discrimination.
Hmm.
In that case it was gender discrimination. Here we are talking
Right.
about communal discrimination. So
Hmm.
that psychologist basically
Hmm.
focused on addressing the youth of China, especially the
Hmm.
male population,
Hmm.
about how and why discrimination is something that needs to be retarded. So
Right.
here, making a clear structure, having a clear structured program to address
Hmm.
these issues on an institutional level can be very, very
Hmm.
beneficial, because even
Hmm.
in psychology, we've learned that children learn very fast. The
Right.
concept of learning is very, very fast. So
Hmm.
when you address these issues, uh,
Hmm.
they understand, they ponder
Hmm.
over it, and
Hmm.
we also have value education in our school. Well,
Hmm. Hmm.
how to apply that in the real life.
Right.
In this case, avoiding discrimination can also be
Correct.
can also give conceptual clarity. So
Correct.
that is something that can be done on an institutional level. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's like you said, it's not only the responsibility of one person, it's everyone who comes together and make these changes, right? So it's not an individual fighting, it's everyone working together to make this change. Now, um, going back a little bit, I'm wanting to know what was your strategy to work through these emotions that came up for you, right? Like there was one part of it where you said that, okay, no, helping your brother help you heal, but what about access to mental health resources? What about inequalities, discriminations in those areas? Is that something you have ever identified, seen, faced, or in the future, what would you like to happen differently so that these barriers don't exist in terms of resources?
Ma'am, I think one of the biggest barriers when it comes to accessing mental health resources is the fact that people don't know that it exists. And
Hmm.
especially at an institutional level. Like, I
Hmm.
remember in school, my principal had introduced a psychologist who was an
Hmm.
onboarding psychologist, and she's like, okay,
Hmm.
this is a counselor, and she's new.
Hmm.
I don't know what a counselor is. What does she do?
Right.
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 So you need to have that awareness. And here
Correct.
we as mental health professionals come into picture. We need
Hmm.
to take the advantage and initiate such conversations like, okay,
Hmm.
let's spread awareness about mental health, what we do, how
Hmm.
we are important when it comes to crisis intervention, or somebody who's been
Right.
bullied, or someone who has faced
Hmm.
ragging. So
Hmm.
this is where we come into picture. And we
Correct.
should it's high time that we destigmatize this, at least on the school and college level.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and that's how we can integrate into society, being more mindful and aware of not only what's right, what's wrong, but of our own biases, of our own prejudices. Since we are a little bit short of time, we are pretty close to the session, Anam. Can you tell us some takeaways that you'd like for the people watching the live and whenever it goes on our Instagram channel for whoever watches it later? What's that one takeaway or multiple takeaways that you'd want people to kind of hold on to and ponder or reflect on?
I would just like to say that yes, recognize that discrimination happens.
Hmm.
If you're a parent or a family member, be
Hmm.
mindful about how you speak in front of your children, because they're
Hmm.
constantly taking things the way they come out from your mouth. So change your verbatim. uh, Learn to unlearn. In
Hmm.
this case, stop generalizing. We
Hmm.
are a diverse culture, and we are
Hmm.
individual in our own sense. Every individual is
Hmm.
different. That is why we
Hmm.
have psychology and mental health. So
Right.
do not generalize your population that way. Do not generalize one person on
Hmm.
the basis of community, because sometimes it can get
Hmm.
really, really unhealthy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yes, to the person or people who have been through this or are going through this, I would
Mm.
request each and every one to just talk it out, speak up,
Mm.
because you can be a voice for someone else.
Right.
Um, if you are a friend and a friend comes and asks you or tells you
Mm.
about these things, be a
Mm.
mindful listener. You know,
Mm.
that is the least you can do for them.
Mm.
Uh, and please do ponder over uh, the fact that does communal
Mm.
discrimination really should exist in our society, because
Correct.
like I mentioned, we are different people, we come from
Mm.
different areas of the country, and we all
Mm.
are beautiful in the way we are. So does this
Mm.
really need to exist? And that is something that we really need to ponder over.
Beautiful. Very well said, Anam. Very well closing remarks, because you're right. We are so unique in our own experiences. Even within one community, there are a range of different people. So having this discrimination, what is then the basis? What then is the standard or of comparison or discrimination, right? Very well said. Again, thank you so much, Anna, for joining in our live. For all our participants, if you have any comments, if you want to share your own experiences, you can either put it in the comments or you can direct message us. We would love to hear you. If you want to stay anonymous, you can let us know that as well. But we would love to hear also your unique individual lived experiences. Anam, I want to again thank you for coming into our live, joining us, and for being vulnerable and honest about your experiences. Again, it's not always the easiest because you're in on a platform like Instagram. So I do want to thank you for your bravery as well. It takes an incredible amount of courage to agree to this.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and even Akshada, ma'am, for having me
Hmm.
here. And I'm very, very humbled to have been given this opportunity to share my experiences. And I hope that anyone and everyone watching this can ponder over it a little bit, if not a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to all of our participants who were listening, who joined in, who may have absorbed something, who can now, like Anam said, be the voice for others, stand up when they see inequality, when they see discrimination happening, and be there as supports for each other than against each other. Thank you so much, Anam, for joining in.
Thank
Hope
you,
to have
ma'am.
more such conversations with you. Hope to have more such interesting discussions, either on the same platform or on a different platform. But let's find ways to keep in touch and looking forward to interacting more with you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Bye bye.
Bye. I
How do you save this live video? Because there is share to IGTV, it's view insight, and there is delete video. It doesn't say where to share.